Greetings, metalheads. Welcome back to the John Macaluso interview. This is a fantastic interview. It's part two. Enjoy. Please leave comments and share. Thanks for watching. Hey, brother. Yeah, so I was talking about the first Ark album. What did you actually think of Conception's music?
I only saw them live. I really haven't heard the records. I mean, me and Roy, the singer, and Tora, we lived in Norway together. And basically, yeah, I haven't really listened to the records much, but I saw them live a bunch of times because we used to live together, you know?
Yeah.
But Roy's a great guy and a great singer. Roy's a great dude, man.
I mean, I saw those guys live supporting Skyclad in the UK. And to be honest, I thought Conception just totally blew them off stage. Totally wiped the floor of them.
Art Nazi, Skyclad. That was one of their songs because we opened up for them with Riot.
Right?
We actually we toured with them for a while. Anyway, yeah. So it was me, Tor, and Jorn living together in Norway for a while, right before the Burn the Sun tour, right before the Ark Burn the Sun tour. We all stayed together.
Awesome. But I mean, the second
Yeah.
album, Burn the Sun, what a fantastic album. I mean, compared to the first album, you could tell the production was excellent. The songwriting, you guys had gelled together. You had Matt's on keyboards, who sadly passed away. And I think, was it the bass player from TNT was also in the band?
No, Randy Coven. What
That's
happened
it,
was
Randy, yeah. Yeah.
no, when I was touring with Malmsteen, if you look at the Malmsteen band, it was basically Ark with a different guitar player because
Yeah.
we we got money to make Burn the Sun. We're going to do a real album. So we got a producer, Tommy Newton, in Germany. And we went over to Germany and me and Tora wrote everything, all the music. Maybe it took about 3 months or so. And then we went in to record the tracks. And when Jorn came to the studio, there was no lyrics and no vocal melodies. Imagine that. So we're in the studio and he's like, come on, man. So me and Jorn would write lyrics at night. It was like an assembly line.
Yeah.
But before that, we're in Germany and the bass player we had wasn't working out. It wasn't working. Because Ark on the first album is a 3-piece.
Yeah, that's right.
And
Yeah.
Tora played there. And we hired a keyboard player to do some stuff. But for this album, we recorded all the drums and rhythm guitar. And then the bass player just wasn't cutting it. So like, oh my God, what are we going to do? And I said, wait, I'll get the Malmsteen guys. I met, I'm from Long Island and so is Randy Coven, but we weren't buddies. We met on the tour with Malmsteen. So I said, to Tora, I said, dude, I got the two guys. I got the best, man. Let me just call them up. So I called Randy Coven and I said, bring your fretless bass. And he's like, oh man, I don't want to bring two basses on the plane. I go, bring the fretless bass. It'll be beautiful in this style of music.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And yeah, so he was in. And then I called Mats, the keyboard player, because we were going to have a session guy do it. But I'm like, dude, Mats is the best. I got these guys. So basically, it wasn't planned. We flew them over and it became like an assembly line. Jorn came in. So all day, me and Jorn were writing lyrics while Randy Cohen was recording bass. The producer would go rest. He would go to sleep. Me and Jorn would go in. I would actually press record. And Jorn on the spot would just read the lyrics we wrote that day and come up with melodies and ripping it up. It was amazing. So, and then Tora would wake up and Tora would go work with the keyboard player. So it was this process, like the army, you sleep when you can. And, you're going to record. And that's the way Burn the Sun was done. The music was really set, but vocal melody and lyrics and everything and bass parts and keyboard, that all happened on the spot. And that's the magic of it.
I mean, your first album got re-released with a different cover, didn't it? Inside Out re-released it. Did they remaster? Yeah. Was it remastered or was it just left untouchable?
You can't remaster it because Conception went over for their demos, they went over the real tracks. So we just put it out on vinyl. And my friend Simone Muladoni, he's a guitar player for DGM.
Yeah, I know him. Say hi from me.
He said we're great friends, and he's actually the engineer when I did the Mike Romeo albums and a lot of different stuff. But Simone had to master from the CD because he had no choice. And so to put the vinyl out. So because we don't have, we still, the tracks are lost. There's no separate tracks with that album. Or I would have definitely remixed it a long time ago.
Right. I mean, I'm listening to the album and Jorn's voice is so diverse. We've got Bjorn, we've got Peter Gabriel, we've got Sting. His vocals on
Burn the Sun.
His vocals on this album is phenomenal. It's just so diverse.
They're amazing. And he's a chameleon in the studio.
I agree. On that album, I definitely agree.
Yeah, I mean, you could hear the difference from the first album lyrically and vocal style as compared to this one. This one was completely, we were co-producing them. And it was like a dream because you could ask that guy to do anything and he's going to just rip it up. So me and him had all the lyrics and he would just take the lyric sheet. And for example, Absolute Zero, which is my favorite song on Burn the Sun, the reason he did the Bjork thing is because that day we were taking photographs, right? Taking photographs. And the photographer only had one song and it kept repeating. It was Emergency by Bjork. I think it's called Emergency.
Right.
And we heard it so many damn times. I love it. But Jorn just started to mess around in the studio with that song. I'm like, dude, that's amazing. Do it. Oh, no, too much Bjork. I go, dude, just do it. So we didn't have, this is amazing. We didn't have the lyrics to it. So in the studio, there was a bookshelf and I just started grabbing books and everything's in German. So I'm like, what have we got? We can't, that's a bad German imitation. There was one book that was in English and it was a science book. So I just started to write particles from solar flare, aurora borealis, and all these different terms. And then we gave it a chorus. And basically it's Jorn reading the stuff that we got from the science book with imitating Bjork and coming out with that incredible melody. And I mean, listen to it. There's nothing like it. The drum and bass stuff, fretless bass, double bass, Bjork style. So yeah, like co-producing that album was a dream because there was no rules. Just a little, he was copying Britney Spears.
Okay.
Just a little crazy. He was just imitating, and that's how it started. Then we're like, dude, try Sting. Oh, no problem. Oh, your first song. He a chameleon. You know what I mean? But willing to take the risk. You know what I mean?
And it paid off. It definitely paid off.
It's a classic, man.
It's one of my favorite progressive metal albums of all time.
That's beautiful.
Absolutely love it.
I live in a crazy house, man. It's a crazy house. If I'm in the airplane, I'm going over the Pacific Ocean, and the plane starts going like crazy, honestly, I'm like, it's okay. Because I recorded Burn the Sun.
Yeah. I mean,
so what I mean by that is that's it for me. You know what I mean? I'll make better albums, hopefully, but I'm content because I did that album. So don't bring me down on the plane, man. But if it does happen, at least I could deal with it.
Yeah. I mean, you toured with that album, didn't you? You played in Europe with Threshold, if I remember rightly.
What was that?
If I remember rightly, you did a European tour with Threshold.
Of course, Threshold, amazing friends. It was Threshold and Arc, and then 9/11. And we're from New York. So I remember in the afternoon, they brought in the equipment and we were setting up and we were about to do a sound check. And I'm from New York. Randy Coven's from New York. My drum tech was from New York. And the drum tech comes running and he goes, something's happening in New York. You got to check it out. So I remember watching it on TV in Prague, Czech Republic, my whole city burn and fall down. And I couldn't get in touch with my family and my parents for 2 days, man. And it was just a nightmare. So there's nothing we could have done. We continued the tour, but to produce, one of the booking agents said, we got to cancel like Marseille and the dates in France because maybe it's too dangerous for Americans. I'm like, screw that, man. Let's go. You know what I mean? I want to do something. So basically, the sad thing is that we had to stop the tour due to 9/11. But the last gigs were, it was Free Kitchen opening for us. So it was Free
Yeah, I remember those
Kitchen,
guys. Yeah.
yeah, Arc, and then Threshold. And Threshold, amazing people. And being together on 9/11 made us very close. Me and
Yeah.
Richard, the keyboard player, and I love the drummer. I think Hugo, great drummer, man.
I mean,
But,
I almost came out to that, wanted to see you on that tour. I was hoping you would have played the UK, but you didn't. I was so pissed off that you never played the UK.
me too. Me too. It's one of my favorite places to play. I mean, there's nothing like playing in England because I grew up on, I'll say it straight out, the best bands and my biggest influences are all English bands.
Right.
The 70s English band, it's the best music ever. So I really wanted to go play in England, but we didn't get there with the tour.
So what's your favorite songs from the Burn the Sun album?
Absolute Zero and Heal the Waters, of course. You know, you got to have a drum intro. Every album has to have a drum intro, man. And basically the drum intro of Heal the Waters, if you, you probably can't imagine how it was written, but it's basically Phil Collins in the air tonight. Da 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 da. Two times. Da 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 da, and then that. So between the two Phil Collins rhythms, I put two double bass 30 seconds. Da 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 da. So it's da 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 da. So that's stealing or borrowing from Phil Collins and mixing it with Joe Franco. That's what I mean by there's a salad between those four drummers.
I gotta say, you're an amazing drummer, especially on the album, John. You did an absolutely fantastic job on the Arc album.
Thank you so much, man.
You know, absolutely amazing. I mean, it's like you say, you broke up so many times. You could have done a third album, but you didn't. Did you actually write? Did you write any songs for a third album?
Oh yeah, man. The drums are recorded. The drums are recorded. Not all, but I'd say 6 tracks we did.
So what happened? Why did you break up? What happened?
The same bullshit. You know, I don't want to talk bad about anyone, but me and a guitar player, we just, you know, we go through the shit again and again and again. And it's I don't even want to talk about it. It's a shame because we were great friends. I mean, we did a lot together. And even though I can't stand him anymore, he is probably, I play with some big ass guitar players, but I got to say, he is the one guy who knows me. And it's like Keith Moon and Townsend. They don't even have to look at each other. We know where each one is going. There's a telepathy there. And he has it with me and I have it with him. But it's such a shame. There's this stupid negative vibe between us, you know what I mean? And yeah, and then Randy and Mats are gone. They passed away, which is weird.
Yeah. Rest in peace.
Yeah, but I mean, the third album has some, it was going to be called The Dark Album. And the cover is D-A-R-K, but the D is a hologram. So if you turn it, it's the Arc Album. And then you turn it the other way, it's the Dark Album. The D comes and goes, you know? So I mean, crazy concepts, man. Crazy concepts. And it's just a shame you're not going to hear it.
Is it actually recorded and the actual song's finished, but they're just lying there doing nothing?
Well, the drums are done on about 5 or 6 songs, and the songs are written, but the guitar was never recorded yet. And I have a lot of lyrics. You know, me and Jorn did all the lyrics for Burn the Sun. And dude, I wrote Swimming in the Pool. Remember that one?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I was writing lyrics way before. But I have a lot of lyrics for the third album too. And it's a crazy concept, man. But you're not going to hear it, unfortunately.
That
you know?
sucks, man. I mean, moving on now, John. I mean, you did this album.
Yeah. Rising Force.
I mean, like you said, you took all of Arc members and Young and Yngwie wanted all you guys to do the album. I mean, how did you get on with Yngwie? Because he's quite a difficult person, isn't he, at times to work with, I believe.
Oh, I worked with a lot of way more difficult, and you'd be amazed. In my opinion, Malmsteen is allowed to be the way he is.
Yeah. Because
he's a genius.
Right.
And, you know, you could, I play with some great guitar players and they're famous. And in my mind, they're not allowed to be dickheads. Sorry about that.
Right. Okay.
In a way, he is, because he started a style. He's Yngwie Malmsteen. You know what I mean? It's, I appreciated playing with him. I made him laugh. That's how I got through the whole you know, on stage is amazing. 2 hours
Right.
of jamming, bigger drum fills, John, longer solo. That's what he would say. But the other time you're with him, it can be difficult.
Right.
But I made him laugh, stupid jokes, and you know, so I got along with him pretty good, man. He loved that song "Where the Winds Blow" from Ark, and
Right.
when I remember in his Ferrari, we're driving around, we were going somewhere, and he's like, "Check it out, man." He had a Beethoven CD, and he had Ark's first album.
Right.
And in sound, and nobody knows this, but sound check, we would play "Where the Winds Blow," me and him together. There's no video of that, but that's true. So there was a problem. There was a problem, and Yngwie called me before the tour, and he said, "Can you call that guy on the Ark album?" I said, "Jorn, of course." And I called Jorn, and I said, "Dude, Malmsteen wants you." And he goes, "No, no, 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 I'm not going to play. There's too many stories." I go, "Dude, we're going on tour with Ronnie James Dio." He goes, "Okay, give me Yngwie's number now."
Was that real? Was it Yngwie Malmsteen and Dio together?
So we got.
I actually remember interviewing Yngwie once, and I remember interviewing Yngwie Malmsteen once, and he denied that he didn't know Jorn Lande was. And there's videos on YouTube of you guys on stage with Jorn. It's just like, how can you deny that?
I saw a video of him saying, "I don't know that guy." I guess it's his way to deal with it, you know. It was funny because when I got him, they thanked me. They were like, "Oh my God." But at the end, they were like, "John, I was to blame. John, why'd you call this guy?" I said, "Wait a minute, you wanted him." But it was an incredible lineup. Think about it. It's Ark with Malmsteen.
Yeah. But you never did an album together, did you? Never recorded an album with Jorn singing. It was just a live performance, wasn't it?
We did a lot of gigs. I mean, I did a lot of gigs with Yngwie. What I love about that tour, it's like he doesn't like days off, man.
Yeah.
I sleep too late to see anything. Like in Australia, they're trying to wake me up and I got a hangover and they're going, "John, we're going to see the Opera Hall in Sydney." I'm like, "Okay, take some pictures. I'll see you tonight. I got to go back to bed. Get the hell out of my bunk." So I'm like Yngwie, I don't like days off. So the tours were like constant. Boom, 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 boom. But it's a shame that band was never recorded because with Jorn and Randy and Mats and me, it was a sick lineup, man, that tour. Great lineup. I love playing with Yngwie.
I mean, the album that you recorded, Alchemy, what's your favorite songs from the album?
Oh, Wield My Sword. Again, drum intro. But Yngwie's a drummer.
Really?
And Yngwie's a pretty good drummer. He's you'll appreciate this. There's rules. There's some rules that Yngwie will give you. But here, really quickly, I said I saw Metallica, and it was Lars Ulrich and Hetfield, and they did a double drum solo. And I got to say, Hetfield was better than Lars, but that's another story. I told Yngwie this, and he goes, "Let's do it." So when we toured Japan, there's like 10 Japanese dudes. They would wheel Yngwie out on a riser with wheels, and he had the replica drum set, the Silver Sparkle drum set, and we would do double drum solos, me and Yngwie. I have it recorded, but I don't have it on video.
Wow.
And Yngwie's rules, you can't do the John Bonham fill, 1, 2, 3 foot. You have to do Cozy Powell way. Snare, tom, foot, foot, double bass. Digga-digga-dum, biddle-dum, biddle-dum, illegal, ba-da-da-dum, ba-da-da-dum, legal. You could hear it in the intro of The Stand. Biddle-dum, biddle-dum. It's the 2 Cozy Powell fills. He would sneak behind my drum set on tour and raise my hi-hat up here. Because he said, "Macaluso, your hi-hat is too low. It's a hi-hat." I said, "It doesn't mean it's high." So please welcome Yngwie Malmsteen in Japan. I run out my hi-hats up here. Every night I had to lower it and then put the mic lower because he would sneak behind the kit. He wanted it high. I still don't get that. You said it was like the little rules, but he's a pretty good drummer, actually. He's a pretty good drummer.
Wow. I mean, you've done so much stuff. Like you've worked with James LeBrie, you've done the Riot stuff. I mean, you've done you've done Alex Massey, you've done Power Mad. I mean, God, how many artists have you worked with? Holy Hell and
a lot of okay, I recorded over 250 records by now, easily.
Right.
You know, I'm trying to compile all the covers. Like now with the internet, I've confined some of the album covers, but I only found maybe 100 because a lot of stuff I did was like I said, ghost drumming, or in the 80s where there was no internet. So if you don't have the physical album, you can't get the cover, you know? But I'm trying to like get it all together. Yeah, man. I mean, that's my gig. I love recording records because records are for life. Gigs can be like the fish that got away. You should have been at that gig. It was great. Like the fish. You should have seen that fish. It was so big, but it got back into the water. So albums are not like that. Albums are for life. So I'm kind of obsessed with making records. And I'm obsessed with the precision, you know, like testing yourself to be better each time, you know? Have you heard the Mike Romeo albums, the solo Mike Romeo?
I've got the first album.
Check out the second one, man. All around, it's just a killer record, man.
Yeah,
Beautiful
I will
album.
do. So why did he leave Yngwie? Is it something, because I know he likes to change his lineup to keep, is it to keep the music fresh? Is that what he does?
Like it wasn't between me and him, but I kind of was loyal to my friend, you know, like I kind of got Jorn in the project, and I didn't know, but they weren't really getting along. You know what I mean? I didn't know that. I was on my own trip at that point, you know, just play the gig, have a good time, go hang out with Randy. We were great friends. We would just go places. But I guess they weren't getting along. And there was a big fight the last day. And I was kind of not in the fight, kind of breaking up the fight. And basically I couldn't go back on the bus after that. And it's a shame because I really loved that gig and Yngwie liked me and the band. So yeah, but when I left, it was it's not easy rock and roll business, man. You know, I'm talking, you know as well as I do. But basically, I wasn't part of that fight. But what happened was I had to leave.
Yeah.
And then the manager called me the next day and said, he wants you back. And I said, have him call me. And the manager says, he won't do that. So that was it. I haven't spoken to him in 20-something years. Wow. But he does tell a lot of journalists off the record that I'm one of his favorite drummers.
That's good. Cool.
That's brilliant. He'll never tell you. He'll never tell you that. No, I appreciated playing with him, man.
So the next band I'm going to talk to you about is this album, which you've sent me in the post, which I'm still waiting for. It hasn't arrived yet, but
it's come from Italy. It takes a while.
I was going through Dino Jelusick's Wikipedia page and finding out what artists he's been with, and then this album Stone Leaders came up. So I went on YouTube, checked out the album, went, oh fuck, this is the Third Ark album. Holy shit. Oh, so I tried to order it from a record store in America on Christmas Day last year, and it didn't arrive. It was out of stock. That's why I contacted you and said, have you got any copies? But this album is definitely the Third Ark album. Do you agree? If the other album had been out, would this be the third one?
No, but okay. Anything I'm involved in where I can write and produce, it's going to sound like Ark. So basically, I wrote all the lyrics in this thing, and I co-wrote all the music, and the vocal or the guitarist Ivan, he did all the vocal melodies.
Right.
So I was talking to Ivan and I said, dude, to record this album, do you have any problems if we get another singer with you? Because The Who is my favorite band.
Right.
Sometimes Townsend sings, sometimes Daltrey sings. He goes, no. I said, do you know anyone? He said, I know a guy who could kind of kill two birds at one stone. He plays keyboards and he sings. Who? He said, the guy you met the other night. Dino is a big fan of Ark. So I was in
You can tell.
Yeah. So I was in some rock bar in Zagreb, Croatia, where the band is from. And Ivan, the guitarist, said, this is the guy he wants to meet you. So he met me and I met him and we talked for a little while. And he just talked about Ark, you know? So then when it came time when we were recording, I said, why don't we use that guy? And Ivan's like, yeah, that's the guy I'm talking about. So Dino sang half the album and he played the keys. And the bass player is real good on that album too, Marco. But yeah, I mean, we didn't try to make it arky. It's just, maybe it's the way I play. And then the lyrics are very arky and the artwork is arky. But basta. Sorry, man. Mooney. It's a madhouse. It's a madhouse.
It's an Anthrax song.
Yeah, but so have you heard the whole record yet? It's
Yeah,
it's in the mail.
yeah, I've heard it on YouTube. That's why I got hold of you, because I just thought it's like the third Arkham. I couldn't believe how much Dino's trying to sound like Jorn Lande on this album.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's a big Ark fan, obviously. So yeah, I mean, maybe it's intentional. I'm not sure. I'm not sure, but both vocalists are great on the record. I mean, uh, it's a great album, man. It's
So
a great album.
how did you hook up with the other guys to do this record? How did you meet the other guys? Obviously, you met them in a bar. I mean, how serious was you all about doing this album? And was it a project or was it a band?
I did a drum clinic in Zagreb, and my friend Mysteria is the keyboard player. He's playing with Bruce Dickinson right now. He's on tour with Bruce
Right.
Giuseppe. So he's the keyboard player, and he said he moved to Zagreb, and we were talking, and he said, "Fratello, brother, come to a clinic in the Zagreb school where I teach." I said, "Can we play some songs too?" He said, "Yeah." So I flew to Zagreb, and I did a clinic, and Ivan, the guy who I did Stone Leaders with, Ivan was the guitar player that Mysteria recommended, and the bass player Marco. So we did Burn, and we did something else, and they were so good, these guys. I said, we have to do something. So that's how I got them, Ivan and the bass player, from jamming with them at a drum clinic. And yeah, Ivan sings and plays guitar, and then Dino came in and did the other vocal songs and the keyboard.
Right. So
And yeah, it wasn't really a band. It was kind of yeah, I could say a project. I just hate that word because I feel like I'm in science class with a beaker. Project. We're gonna dissect a pig.
so who came up with the name Stone Leaders?
I did, because Stone Leaders, also the cover I designed.
It's a good
I'm
album
not
cover
being
as well.
me, but yeah, the cover is this little fantasy thing I had. The Stone Leader is a statue, and if you look at all the statues throughout our lifetime, basically it's all the war. It's all war. It's the generals, and unfortunately, that's what shapes the future. So if you look, the album it was going to be called Peace, Stone Leader's Peace, because basically I'm a big historian, and I went to the Gettysburg Civil War reenactment many times in Pennsylvania, and they have a lot of stores where you could buy old photographs, and
Is one of them John from Iced Earth, because he's got his own store, hasn't he?
I heard about that. I went in a store and I saw a photograph of a Union soldier. A lot of them would have all the guns, a pistol and a musket or a rifle, They wanted to show the firepower. This guy had an alligator on his, it's a real thing. It's a soldier with an alligator on his lap. A big, not huge, but an alligator like this. I said, what a weird photo. So I took the whole concept. So that what the cover's saying is peace. I mean, if a human is making friends with an alligator, that's peace. So what's happening, you got the two angels. I call them the war angels. And then the skeletons, the angels of death, are whispering to them, you're not wanted anymore. You're not needed anymore, because it's about peace. And that's the whole concept of the cover. But a Stone Leader is a statue, like a general or, a stone leader. It's made of stone, and he's a leader.
Wow. So how long did it take to record this album?
Well, Ivan, the singer guitar player, came over to Rome. I live near Rome. I live like an hour from Rome. So we picked him up, and we wrote lyrics and a lot of the stuff here. And then I flew to Zagreb, and we recorded drums. Then I flew back, and then, so it was one of those albums. It wasn't that long, maybe the whole thing about a year. Right, but I mean, his big breaks between, write one song and take a big break. It took about a year.
So what's your favorite songs from that album, John? What's your favorite songs?
Deviate from Euphoria, which is DV8, number 8, there's a lot of twisted.
Yeah, I was looking at it. Yeah.
Yeah. Conceptually, I love the way the music came out, and it's the one, oh man. Oh, Box of Time.
You've got Box of Time, you've got Fire Up in the Oceans, Blind Crusade.
That's the one.
Right.
He does like a little who's that guy? Tim Burton?
Yeah.
So that's Ivan programming a keyboard, like a Tim Burton style intro, which is really weird to begin with. But the concept of that one is cool. I'm thinking like visually what the lyrics are about is everybody prays to God, pray to God, you know? And if people have different gods, what if the God actually came down to the earth? And then what if you didn't like the God when you were hanging with him here? And what if he didn't like you? So the whole thing is like, you brought them here, now you can't send them back.
Right.
So it's like a battle, you know? So it's pretty much the gods are in charge on earth. It's a little, it could be a great video actually, the whole concept there. But I like that song, and I love Box of Time. That's the intro song.
Right. So I mean, why did you only put it out yourselves? You didn't get a record label, do you? It was just like a self-finance thing. Because this album needs to get re-released issue because it's hard to get.
Yeah, because we got a shitty record label. I mean, it was recommended from someone, and it was just some, you know, it wasn't a good. That was not a good thing because not many people have even heard it because the guy doesn't know what he's doing. Unfortunately, it's a shitty record label. So. Yeah, I mean, it should be really. It should be.
I think I mentioned to you to get hold of Matt from Dive Bomb Records. I think I sent you his details, didn't I? You should get hold of him. So he does a lot of reissues.
I remember. Yeah, unfortunately, we went with this bonehead.
Yeah, well, contact Matt now because he does reissues. He'll put it out for you.
I'm gonna check the whole contract thing and see what it, you know. I think we could probably do something because it's a sick album. It's a good album, man.
So
I'm glad you like it.
Yeah, why didn't you do another album? Was there a reason why you couldn't do another album?
I mean, we can, but I kind of want to concentrate. Like this year, I'm concentrating on I'm putting a band together,
right?
Like, with the people I really, really, really want. I want to put something. I mean, these guys are great. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But I really want to put. I have ideas of what to do, and also musically, you know, something completely different than what you're probably used to hearing me play. So, yeah, and then I got my new drum book and video coming out. So I'm going to get back into the clinic. I love the whole education thing with drumming. I'm like a drum geek with that stuff. So basically, and then I got my recording studio. So those three things I want to focus on this year and really get them done, man.
So what's your band? Who's going to be in this band before we wrap up? Who's in the band?
I hate to say it, but I can't tell you. I'd have to kill you first. I know where you live.
Is it? What style is it going to be? Is it going to be prog? Is it going to be power metal? What are you going to go for?
I'm taking away the second drum pedal, if it gives you any idea. I'm gonna completely, drumming wise, I'm gonna play stuff that I've never done before.
Okay.
I mean, and I played a lot, but I'm gonna stay away from the proggy style drum stuff. But it's not boom, boom, bop, boom, boom, bop. I'm going a totally new direction. I've been rehearsing all these different new licks, fills, beats, time signatures. So it's going to be pretty deep. It's going to be dark, and it's going to be kind of slow.
All right, I'm looking forward to hearing it. I'm looking forward to hearing what you come up with. But John, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for doing this interview. Just before we go, do you have anything to say to the people watching this on YouTube?
Thank you, man. Thank you. I didn't get your question. Oh, my answer is people wear earplugs because you're going to end up like me.
Right. So is that the only thing you've got to say before we finish? Or do you have anything else to say to the people watching this?
Oh, just thanks for listening. You know, I get a lot of mails and I really appreciate it, especially with ARC. People are discovering it now, 20-something years later. And I got to thank everybody for listening. And drummers and non-drummers, I have a new book coming out. It's not only for drums. It's actually all linear, which means no two notes happen at the same time, but playing melodically on the drums. And you could actually write songs to the drum parts. So that's going to come out soon. It's called United Sounds of Separation. Look out for it. And I just got to thank everybody. And thank you, man. Finally, we get to do this.
Thank you, John, for doing the interview. So have a nice day. I'll be sending you the link so you can share it. I'd appreciate it when it comes online.
You better call me when you come to Italy, man. Thanks, my man.
Thanks, brother. Bye for now.